Hi, Ramiro here. Okay, so you decided to go ahead and create a financial plan for yourself. Way to go. So you can either decide to go it alone or you can hire a professional. I personally think you should hire a professional. The reason is it'll be a lot easier for you and the chances of success go way up when you have somebody who's helping you along the way. So you say, okay, Ramiro, I'll take your advice and I will hire a professional to help me create my financial plan. So now what? Okay, well, the first step is you got to select a good advisor. Who are you going to hire and who are you going to entrust with your hard-earned money to help you create that perfect financial plan? So the first thing you want to do is when you are seeking out a professional to work with, you need to seek out someone who is acting as a fiduciary. Okay, remember that, a fiduciary. Right now, there are two legal standards in the financial advising community. That is fiduciary standard and the suitability standard. And I'm going to read to you the definitions of each. It's kind of subtle, but I'll go into a more further explanation about it so you can understand it. But let me read the definitions of what each is, okay? The suitability standard is defined as making recommendations that are consistent with the best interests of the underlying customer. The suitability standard only details that the advisor has to reasonably believe that any recommendations made are suitable for the clients in terms of the client's financial needs, objectives, and unique circumstances. Okay, the fiduciary standard states that an advisor must put the client's interests before their own. They must follow the very best course of action, regardless of how it affects them personally or their income. Okay, so I don't know if you caught the subtle differences between the two, but they're huge, huge. So let me give you a practical example of how that suitability and fiduciary standard can apply in another scenario. Let's say you're going to go out and there's a family and they're going to go out and they need to buy a new source of transportation to get the family back and forth from school and to get groceries and to take their kids to soccer games and stuff like that. Okay. So they go into a car dealership. All right. And let's say that they meet with a salesperson that is acting as a fiduciary. All right. So the first thing that sales guy is going to do is he's going to sit them down and he's going to learn about, what they want, what they're looking for, what they want the car to do, what their financial situation is, all those things. And then that salesperson is going to make a recommendation based on that. And he's probably going to recommend, a minivan or an SUV or a mid-size sedan because it's going to make the best sense for their situation. Now take that same circumstance and now you're dealing with a suitability salesman, a salesman that's following the suitability standard. All right. So all that salesman has to do is find you transportation that'll get you from point A to point B. That's it. He's got to make sure that whatever he recommends will get you to point A to point B. So that salesman could recommend to that same family a Porsche or a big old Hummer because according to that suitability standard, he's met it because he's provided you with something that's going to take you from point A to point B, regardless of how uncomfortable that family may be inside that car, or how impractical it may be. But he's met the standard. All right. So someone who's operating under the suitability standard can sell you a financial product that pays them the highest commission and has the highest internal fees. And they don't have to care about that because they're recommending a product that suits your needs. But the problem with that is that over time, the amount of money that you accumulate in your account could be really impacted. And you could have a lot less money over time. So my advice to you is seek out the fiduciary standard. And whoever you're working with, ask them, are you acting as a fiduciary? And if they say yes, tell them, okay, show it to me in writing. Let me see that you're acting as a fiduciary. All right. So remember, seek out the fiduciary standard. Click on my other videos and we'll talk about the next steps too.